This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today in the studio are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar. We're also joined by the TSO's marketing director, Vanessa Gardner. And on the phone, we have the music director of the Toledo Symphony, Alain Trudel. And we have a special guest also joining us by phone. That is, hang on. The TSO's principal flute, Joel C. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely fanfare.
Yes, indeed. We're going to follow you around with that fanfare today. This is
so careful what you say.
Yeah. This is our Thanksgiving special, and every year we try to do something a little special for Thanksgiving. So today we've invited you, Joel, because I went to Zach, I went to Elaine, I said, who among the symphony players is a real foodie? Who is somebody who can talk about, food and
all the people we recommended were busy.
And so we ended up with you. We ended up with you, Joel. Yeah. Anyway. No, by unanimous recommendation, I was told that you were the person that I had to have on. So before we get started with all of that and talking about Thanksgiving recipes, Joel, I wonder if, and we've been doing this with our guests, if you could tell us a little bit of Joel's story, give us a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at you, your life, your career, whatever you want to tell us. I have some nice music for you. You'll recognize this.
Oh, yes.
So that's the second movement from the
Yes.
Mozart Flute and Harp Concerto. I think it makes a nice background, as long as what you have to say is, nice and homey, right? It fits the music.
Well, it's really interesting that you play that excerpt right now, because it's a very special piece of music for me. When I was young, I went to the movie theater with some high school friends of mine, and I was still in high school, and we watched the movie called Amadeus.
Yeah.
And when that scene came up, with Salieri picking up Mozart's manuscript, and one of the pieces was this particular movement, and in the background, the music was played, and I went, wow, I know who that player is. But I wasn't quite sure, and I sat after the movie. I sat in the theater and I watched the credits, and there it was, my hero playing that piece with the English Chamber Orchestra. I went, that's it, nothing more. It's quite special to me, that piece of music.
You're going to tell us who it was?
Oh yeah, it was my mentor, William Bennett.
I figured it was William Bennett.
Yeah.
You've brought him here to Toledo at least once or a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Yeah, wonderful flutist.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your background as far as playing the flute. I mean, the flute is an instrument I always wanted to play. I've said this before. I came to my band teacher back in grade school and said, hey, I want to play the flute. And he said, no. Everybody wants to play the flute, so you have to play the clarinet. He pushed me off on that. What was your beginning?
I really love the cello. And my first instrument was the classical guitar. One Sunday, I was at church, and I saw this lady playing the flute with a choir. I went, that's it. I want to learn that. And then I had received a lot of lucky money from Chinese New Year's festival,
Yeah.
As a little kid, you get little red envelopes full of money, and I took all that money from 1 year, and I went out and I bought myself a used flute. And then luckily, I've heard that my high school band conductor, his main instrument was the flute, and so I asked him, hey, can I have some lessons? And he said, yes. And so every week my mom would drive me to his apartment, and that's how I began.
That's amazing. And how long have you been in Toledo now?
I moved to Toledo in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about food, one of my favorite subjects. I'm sure a favorite subject among many folks. Vanessa's over there raising her arms in triumph.
Yes.
She's ready to talk about it.
I'm ready to talk food.
Yeah. Joel, so you're a flute foodie or a foodie flutist.
Yeah.
A flutie? A flutie?
A flutie.
Yes.
Yes, we've invented a new word, as
Actually,
we often do.
That's an allusion to a famous Boston College football player, too.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Joel, so what is your interest in food? How did that get started? Have you always been like somebody who is a chef, per se?
I think that was the way that I was brought up. I remember, as far as I can remember, growing up, whenever somebody's getting getting married, we'll go for the wedding banquet, and Chinese style, and you go into a big area full of round tables, and you sit there, and there are about 12 people at a table, and it's 10, 12 courses.
Wow.
And I remember, and the dishes are just, wow, what is this? And it's just amazing, exotic, and delicious.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing. The last course they always serve is fried rice, and it's like, why do you serve fried rice after all this? No
Just in case there's any room left.
Fried rice and then Chinese dessert.
Yeah.
And then as I get older, I was fortunate enough to travel a lot, and so when you travel, I don't know, I just feel like I have to try local foods.
Well, now you mentioned fried rice as being on the menu for Chinese Thanksgiving or Chinese dinner. What would be a typical Thanksgiving menu for you?
Let's see. Well, we have of course, we would have the the turkey.
Yeah.
And I remember one time having turkey at Thanksgiving at home, instead of stuffing it with the bread or breadcrumbs or whatever, we would stuff it with Chinese sticky rice.
Ah.
And then with Chinese sausage and shiitake mushrooms and a whole bunch of dry scallops and dry shrimp.
Wow. Are people's mouths watering yet? Are you thinking about it?
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I have not had it in a long time. I might make it this year.
Yeah.
I love Chinese sticky rice.
Well, if it wasn't for quarantine, we'd all be heading over to your house after we're done here.
Welcome. You're all welcome.
Yeah. As we know, Thanksgiving, the holidays are going to be a little different this year because of COVID-19.
Yes. Yeah.
More drinking.
Yeah. Much more.
Joel, are you on DoorDash or Uber Eats? Can I order?
Right. Joel's
I can
here
set that up, yes.
starting his secondary business. Your little sideshow there. So what are we doing for Thanksgiving? I mean, people that have families, I guess, are just staying home with your family. Zach, what are you doing?
It'll be smaller this year. I have 8 siblings, and normally my wife and I cook for a large smattering of siblings and in-laws, and this year it'll just be our family of 4 and my parents will be over. So it'll be nice and quiet, but that also, I presume, means less stress.
Who cooks then when they come?
It's a group effort. My wife and I actually enjoy this quite a bit. A couple years ago, we had the bold idea to sous vide our turkey. Joel is the one who introduced me to sous vide.
Oh, that's the best.
Wow. You have to explain what sous vide is, just so folks know.
Well, Joel, why don't you do this, since you were the early adopter?
Yeah, you're the culinary expert, Joel.
Well, sous vide, it's a method of cooking anything really in a water bath at a set temperature.
Okay.
So you will never overcook the item. Like one Thanksgiving, I made I took out the breast of a turkey and I seasoned it just a little butter and little poultry seasoning, and I truss it up. And then I I put it in a food saver bag, and I put it in a water bath. And I may have overdone it a little bit. I made turkey breast. I made stuffed rack of pork with porcini mushrooms stuffed inside, duck breast from Hudson Valley, and I made a whole bunch of other stuff. And my guest was like, "Wow, this is the best turkey I've ever had."
To say nothing of everything else.
Yeah, they ignore everything.
When are we getting the Toledo Symphony cookbook? That's my question.
I think we've done it.
Yeah. Have you done that in the past?
Might need to redo it. It sounds like you've had a couple more culinary adventures, Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elaine, are you still there?
Oh yes.
He's drooling. He's drooling.
I know you've already had Thanksgiving in Canada, but do you do anything special for American Thanksgiving up there where you are?
No, but I mean that's the moment when everybody in the U.S. is very happy that we don't have a similar size population because there's turkeys left.
Do you eat turkey for your Thanksgiving? When is it? Like middle October, right?
Yeah.
It's usually the first Monday.
It's around Columbus Day.
It is Columbus Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically the same. I don't know for you, Vanessa, but for us in Quebec, it's the same. How could I say menu?
Yeah.
The same menu. One little note on sous vide. It's a French term. So when Joel was talking about vacuuming the bag there, it's a sous vide. It means under. That means that there's nothing around it. There's no air.
Okay.
So that's cooking something in a bag that has no air.
Nice.
And that's the trick of it, right? You can't just put it in a bag.
I understand that it was invented by a French chef in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And I was always very interested in this technique, but I thought the machines would cost thousands, and then until the very first time I held this dinner party for the symphony, and Chris Nixon from Element 112 came and told me he did this and did that, and he said, "Oh yeah, this machine costs $200."
Wow. And your life was changed.
You're like, I'll get 10 of them.
Well, not only
nowadays,
my physical body changed because I, chicken breast never tasted good.
Yeah.
I was born to it, but
Yeah.
no, but nowadays the only thing you need is that little extra thing you put.
Right.
Like it looks like a temperature thing, that you put on the side of your. It's really not expensive. There's some opera singers. I remember when I was conducting the opera in Cincinnati, and I love to hang out with the opera singers because it's always a dinner at one place, a dinner at the other place. Those people know how to live, right?
As a former opera singer, I can vouch for what you're saying, definitely.
Well, you have to spend so many weeks together before you actually have the premiere. So it's not like you show up and you go to a hotel and then you just go to a restaurant. So one of our tenors actually had it was a master at that, and he brought his home kit, and we tried all different things every time. It was a lot of fun. And yes, it's true. It's beautiful. You can cook almost anything that way, and it's always right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have you ever done a sous vide technique, Vanessa?
I have not, but I am very intrigued. I'm usually pretty adventurous, culinary, what have you.
Yeah.
But that is a contraption that I have not acquired. I don't like single-use contraptions in the kitchen, and I feel like even though you can do a lot with it, that's all you can do with it.
Yeah.
I think it just opens up I feel like we're on an infomercial now. But it really opens up the possibilities for cooking things that are otherwise very traditional. So once you sous vide a steak, you never make it the conventional way. Once you sous vide a turkey, you never do it the conventional way. And it also opens up just new possibilities for making vegetables more flavorful and doing things that are otherwise very temperamental. Like if I were left to make lamb chops, I would overcook them every day.
Well, I make perfect lamb chops, so
okay, clearly
I don't
you
have
don't
that
need
problem.
Not all.
Yeah, but
all right.
wait,
All right, so
there's
now
more.
I know my Cyber Monday purchase.
That's
That's
right.
going to be.
Yeah.
Well, but if you call into the station right now, we'll throw in an extra.
If you make a donation to a WGT in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Who needs Roku boxes? We need sous vides.
That'd be. We'd have to price that at the right point.
But Vanessa, what's great is that if you do the sous vide, then you can put it on broil for a little while.
Right, right.
After that, just to give it a little
Okay.
Well, and it's foolproof, which is really important for our kitchen because we get distracted. There are kids running around, people are coming in, relatives are showing up. This thing, as Joel said, can't overcook the turkey. So you can put it in for, I think the turkey was a extent. So we were up until 1 a.m. trying to get it into the water bath. So we're butchering this turkey at 1 a.m.
Were you like wrestling it first, or?
Well, no, it
Was this a live turkey or? No.
It was at one point, but no, it was preparing for the
I'm
holidays.
imagining Zach arguing with this turkey to take its bath.
Yeah,
It's bath time.
Come on, no. You have to take the bath. You cannot. No,
You'll never take a bath another way after you
that's right.
try
But
this.
it has to be in there for several hours. So if you cook it in the sous vide bath for 8 hours or 20 hours, it doesn't really make a difference once it gets to that
So
desired
it doesn't get
temperature.
pruny in the bath?
No, you also don't eat the fingers, so you'd never know.
Yeah.
But that is the best part about this, is that the urgency of time goes away. Unless, of course, you're cooking with time in the bag, which I do recommend.
So for people who are completely awful at cooking, like me, it'd be a good bit of advice to follow.
It would be.
Right? Yeah, because I could just leave it in there and not worry about it.
They actually have a Wi-Fi enabled version so that you can put some steaks in a bag on ice, and then once you're ready, you can hit the button on your phone and it will warm up the water, melt the ice, cook the steak, and then when you come home, all you have to do is throw it around on a pan sear and you're eating a restaurant quality dinner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do our Thanksgiving quiz while we have time, okay? So I've got some questions here that relate to Thanksgiving. The holiday, of course, is happening tomorrow, and we're here talking today about Thanksgiving. So this is my quiz. Let me bring up a little music for you. Okay. That's more...
I feel like I'm watching 3, 2, 1 Contact.
It has nothing to do with
No
Thanksgiving.
contact.
That's right.
It's just fun quiz music. You know
3,
what?
2, 1 social distance.
Let's change it. Here, we'll try this instead. This is music all made out of kitchen utensils. Okay? I think that'll work. All right. Except for that bass.
What kind of instrument is that?
Yeah. What, you haven't tried Sue Bass?
Sue Bass.
Version of cooking? Okay.
Subas.
First question, true or false? The very first Thanksgiving in 1621 with the Pilgrims and Native Americans was a 3-day affair. Is that true or false?
True. I'm going to go with true.
Yeah. 3-day affair. 3 days of Thanksgiving, the very first one. That goes to Vanessa. Number 2, this is also true or false? A highlight of the event was the dessert menu, which included squash pie. Is that true or false?
False.
Okay, Joel gets that one.
Can I ask a question here? If you have a 3-day-long Thanksgiving, what constitutes the leftovers?
I don't think
Is
there
that
are
on
any
the fourth
leftovers.
day? Or are you eating leftovers the
in-laws.
whole day? Yeah, the in-laws.
That's why we get Friday off. Thanksgiving is really a 3-day event.
I mean,
Gotcha,
there's only one
gotcha.
way to find out, right?
And then when did they watch the football?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get to that later. So, no, they didn't really have dessert. I mean, they didn't have ovens yet. They didn't
Yeah,
have
that's
their
what I was
ovens
thinking, yeah.
constructed, and they ran out of sugar on the way over, so they didn't make any pies or any cookies or anything like that. Okay, which of these 3 items was not on the menu for the first
Sugar.
Thanksgiving?
You just told us. I got it.
Pie.
That's not one of your... No, that's not one of your things. Which one of these was not on the menu? Was it shellfish? Was it potatoes? Or was it venison? Which of those 3? I'm leaving turkey out of this because we don't know for sure if they had turkey or not. They might have, or they might not have.
I'm going to go with potatoes.
Whoa.
Excellent. Yeah. They didn't have potatoes
Yeah.
for the first Thanksgiving.
Because potatoes are a winter
Yeah.
root vegetable.
Well, I mean, the potatoes had to come from like Spain or somewhere,
Yeah.
and they were in transit. They didn't get to London in time or England in time for the Mayflower. And
But now it's such an iconic part of the Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So
Go
is the
figure.
turkey.
But they did have a lot of lobster and clams and oysters, and they had a lot of venison
Down the
as
Cape.
well.
Wow.
Yeah. Under which of these presidents was Thanksgiving declared an official national holiday to be held on the last Thursday in November? Was it George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, or Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
FDR.
Well, see, this is kind of a trick question.
All of them?
I mean, you have to look at an official national holiday, right? Who was the president that declared it an official national holiday?
I thought FDR gave it the designation at the end of the month because there was something going on with the banks.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here, let me explain what happened.
Well, I just got called out of class.
What happened was,
Okay, so we're out in the
and this
hallway.
is a confusing question. Okay, if we
Who
go
wrote
back, Washington actually, started tradition of doing Thanksgivings. The different states had their own state declarations about when Thanksgiving would be held. It wasn't until Lincoln came along that he said, "Oh, we're going to celebrate it as a national holiday, and we're going to do it on the last Thursday of the month." Then Franklin Delano Roosevelt came along and said, "Oh, we can't do it the last Thursday of the month because of business. Let's move it back to the third Thursday of the month." So he changed it
Gotcha.
to give the companies an extra week of Christmas, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And evidently it was very unpopular, and then he changed it back
That's right.
to the last Thursday in Thanksgiving. So the correct answer is, what do you say,
I'd
Vanessa?
I'd say all of them.
I'll say Lincoln just so I can get the yay.
Yep.
Extra point for the Canadian.
We'll give that
Yeah.
one to Vanessa. Okay. That's your history lesson for today.
Thank
All
you
right.
for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip this one. All right, we'll go to this next one. Thanksgiving Day replaced what other holiday that had occurred on that date? Was it Constitution Day? Was it Evacuation Day?
No, that's Friday.
Or
That's March.
I knew-
Evacuation day is in March.
I knew I could count on you guys for a joke there. Or was it Have a Bad Day Day?
I'm gonna go with
Yeah, I go with A.
Constitution
Yeah.
Day.
Wait, you go with Constitution Day? No,
What?
that was actually September 17th to celebrate the signing of the Constitution.
So it's Have a Bad Day Day?
No, it's Evacuation Day.
It's
is in
Evacuation
March,
Day.
so-
Oh, well, they must have evacuated it to March because
Yes.
of Thanksgiving.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was
that
originally
makes sense.
it
I'm
was
gonna-
originally on. Yeah.
I'd just call you out on this
No,
quiz of yours
I'm
here.
still giving that to Vanessa.
Quiz well.
It's taken you 4 years to come up with that nickname. Amazing. Okay, Black Friday is the busiest day of the year for what profession? Is it online retailers? Is it urgent care providers?
Maybe.
Or is it plumbers? Which of those three get the most
Plumbers.
business?
It's plumbers.
Let's go with A.
Yeah.
I'm going with. I was gonna
It
say
is.
urgent care.
It's plumbers. Zach got one.
Yikes.
But it's not what you think. People don't call them. People call them because they've put scraps down the drain, the disposal,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Oh.
So that's what it's mostly
What
about.
were you insinuating, Brad?
Yeah, okay.
I become a human garbage disposal for
Moving
the
on.
Thanksgiving holiday.
Moving on.
I have a couple of sisters like that too.
Okay, this is our final question. Well, the first Macy's Thanksgiving parade in the 1920s did not have balloons. It did have what? Which of these following did it have? Did it have animals from the Central Park Zoo? Did it have a 100-foot caterpillar? Or did it have a talking elephant?
I'm gonna
A.
go with A.
Yeah.
A.
See, this is a trick question again.
Is it all of them?
Whoa.
We
So can we
had-
talk about
we
the
had all of them.
100-foot caterpillar? I presume that's an artificial caterpillar.
Yeah, an
You
artificial
presume.
caterpillar.
I presume. Otherwise,
That's a very hungry caterpillar.
deprived of its Thanksgiving Day book.
It's sort of an earthbound version of the
earthbound.
balloons. And they had a talking elephant, an elephant who could say the word "papa," evidently.
Oh,
Really?
boy.
Yeah. Plus, they paraded animals from the Central Park Zoo in cages.
Was the talking elephant from the Central Park Zoo?
I don't know that I'm not clear on.
Was this the inspiration for Mr. Ed?
Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to get back to us on that, Zach.
What was the year?
So in the 1920s, early 20s. Okay. So looking at this, Zach has 2. Vanessa has 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's
told
another
you I was
me.
going to nail this one.
And Joel has 1.
Did you
so,
study?
the winner is... Vanessa.
Yay.
Well done.
I love that little
bravo.
fanfare just because, I mean, when was the last time you saw a timpani at a ballpark?
Anything's possible through the magic of radio, right? Maybe when they heard the sound, they saw it in their mind. Well, Vanessa, you said you were going to do well on the quiz, and you did. So.
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday
Yeah. Why is that?
because it is all the food and none of the pressure of gifts.
Ah,
But the food is the gift.
Exactly.
But it's disposable, right? A disposable gift.
It's consumable.
It's consumable. I
Consumable.
think that's a more important point.
Well,
It's
I
edible.
was getting back to you talking about being a living garbage disposal every Thanksgiving.
I love it.
Yeah. We do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I guess that's what you say, right? Happy Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
don't say have a terrible Thanksgiving.
Well, you know what I mean.
Hey, you, have a terrible Thanksgiving.
Elaine, what do you say to wish people a happy Thanksgiving in Canada?
We call it Action de Grâce, so Bonne Action de Grâce or Joyeuse Action de Grâce.
Okay.
The action of grace.
Oh. So,
I thought you were saying accent grave. That'd be the thing over
No,
there.
no,
Right.
Yeah, you just go around making that noise.
So,
all weekend. You know what I do? It's weird.
As opposed to
You know what I personally do every Thanksgiving, and that's not a joke. I just put on a simple gift like the Aaron Copland, American Song Cycle. You asked me if I do something on the American Thanksgiving the week after, the month after the Canadian one. I like to listen to that. It's a little tradition we have.
nice.
Yeah,
I don't have that music, I'm sorry to say.
it's all good.
Well,
you
you could
have
go
a day.
to-
You have a day. There's a whole room full of CDs down the hall.
If anyone would like to make that a tradition this Thanksgiving, you can go to stream.artsolito.com and watch Joel play it exquisitely.
Wow. Spoken like a true marketing director, right? We get folks to listen to that. It's perfect timing, though, for the holiday that we can set that up. Before we do actually go, I wonder if any of you want to offer up like a real recipe or take us sort of through the process of creating a wonderful dish. Zach, your hand is raised.
I have a recipe, but it's not for a dish. It's for surviving Thanksgiving with an autumnal cocktail.
Go for it.
Well, you have to get 2 ounces of rye. You have to get an ounce of elderflower liqueur, like Saint Germain. You have to get a half an ounce of lime juice, and you put it in a shaker over ice, and you shake it, and then you strain it out over a glass of ice. You top it with some ginger beer, a couple dashes of bitters, and it is the most amazing autumnal cocktail.
Wow. How many times are you supposed to have this during the
The
season
doctors
of autumn?
usually prescribe it 8 to 10 doses during the course of Thanksgiving Day,
Yeah.
or as needed.
Yeah, it's an aperitif, right? Or a before tea or whatever they
You
call
have
them.
to use ginger beer, though, not ginger ale.
Okay.
I have all those ingredients at home.
There you go.
Were you writing it down?
Nope, I don't need to.
You'll have it committed to memory.
That's called the Grand Autumn, so it seems like the perfect cocktail for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Mm.
excellent. Joel, do you have a favorite food that you can tell us the process of creating?
I love them all.
Well, here, let me give you a little motivation there. There we go. You get the same music.
Well, I love cornbread stuffing. So I use cornbread. I think, dessert.
That's not a sous vide thing, though, right?
No, it's not.
Do you
Yeah.
dry out the cornbread?
Yeah, you dry it out and large cubes,
Yeah.
and it's very simple. But I think that's my favorite. One of my favorite dishes. It's so easy and simple. You don't have to put stuff in. You can just put in a dish and make it as a dressing and put it in the oven with, chestnuts. You can pretty much get it, prepared, from the store, like from Costco, and I put chestnut, cranberries, apple, onion, celery, carrots, and mix it up, and some sage, of course.
Of course.
And and then put chicken stock, and mix it up, and then just bake it.
Wow, I could just eat an entire meal of cornbread.
Oh, I love cornbread.
Me
I do
too.
too.
Fantastic, Vanessa.
I have not tried turducken yet. I'm making turducken, but one of these days I might try it.
Well, let us know. Give us a heads up when you do that. Vanessa, you have a favorite? It can either be like a favorite recipe or food, or even a favorite memory or story that you want to tell.
Well, one of my, it's not Thanksgiving without this side dish, is mashed carrots and turnips with butter, salt, and pepper. And it's a family thing, and it's very, very simple, but it's delicious. But I personally love making pan-roasted Brussels sprouts. I do that with balsamic vinegar, and they get nice and charred, and then they get some sweetness, and then I put a dash of cayenne pepper, and maybe some dried cranberries and chopped pecans if I'm feeling super adventurous. But
Fantastic.
I do love Brussels sprouts.
I do too.
Yeah, I had them last night, as a matter of fact. A nice big panful. Not quite the same quality that you're talking about, Vanessa, but fantastic. Well, we certainly hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Or what did you call it, Elaine?
Action de grâce.
Action of grace, yes.
Yeah.
Wishing you a wonderful action of grace.
Oh.
I like that. We
Everybody
have
could use a little extra.
to, yeah.
That's true.
See if we can get it to catch on there. Anybody have anything else you want to say before we head out for the day? No, we're good.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Be kind to each other.
This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. And remember, you can check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find the TSO streaming concerts online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Vanessa Gardner, Alain Trudel, and our special guest, Joel C. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.